If you've been following Soil Sage Chronicles, you already know one powerful truth. Plants don't grow alone. What we call soil is not just dirt. It's a living ecosystem. Hidden inside every teaspoon of fertile soil are billions of living microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, nematodes, protozoa, working together to feed plants, build structure, and store nutrients. But here's the secret: most gardeners never learn. You don't need to buy expensive fertilizers or microbial inoculants. You can grow the very bacteria that feed your plants for free, right in your garden. This article is going to show you exactly how to do that, using simple household and garden waste materials you already have. This is practical, real-world soil alchemy, something our ancestors did naturally long before commercial fertilizers existed. Let's dive deep together. Before we get hands-on, there's one thing you must understand: plants do not eat fertilizer. They absorb ions, tiny dissolved nutrients like nitrate, ammonium, and phosphate. But these nutrients do not naturally exist in abundance in soil. Instead, they are released by soil bacteria that break down organic matter. So if your soil lacks bacteria, you can pour on fertilizer all day long and still end up with weak plants. But when your soil is rich with organic matter-loving bacteria, the soil feeds itself. Plants become more drought-resistant, more disease-resistant, more nutrient-dense, and naturally vigorous and productive. So, our mission is simple: grow beneficial bacteria. And the good news? They're everywhere already. We just need to multiply them. Alright, so, bacteria thrive on three things. First, carbon-rich food, which is basically their fuel. Second, moisture, but not soggy conditions, just enough to keep things damp. And third, air, because these little guys are aerobic, meaning they absolutely love oxygen. Now, some great carbon-rich sources you can use include rice washing water, molasses, fallen leaves, dry grass, kitchen scraps, and even old compost. When we talk about moisture, we really just mean clean water. Try to avoid chlorinated tap water if you can. And for air, it's important not to compact your mixtures. Keep them fluffy, alive, and breathing. That's pretty much all you need to remember. So, let's get to it. Let's grow some bacteria. This is honestly one of my favorite methods because it's simple, reliable, and, well, incredibly powerful. The rice wash actually collects wild bacteria that are already present in your environment and then multiplies them. So, here's what you do. Step 1. Rinse rice. Place 1 cup of rice in a bowl, cover it with water, and give it a really good shake. The water should turn cloudy, and, believe it or not, that cloudy water is what I like to call bacterial gold. Step 2. Ferment it. Pour this milky water into a jar. Cover the jar with a cloth, not a tight lid, to allow airflow but keep dust out. Leave it somewhere warm and shaded. After about 2 or 3 days, you'll see a thin layer of bubbles and notice a slightly sour smell. This means the bacteria are multiplying. Step 3. Feed the bacteria. Once fermented, mix the rice water with an equal amount of milk. Any type, even spoiled milk works. The bacteria will feed on the sugars in the milk and grow really rapidly. In about a week, you'll notice a separation. The top will be curds, which you can discard or compost, and the bottom will be a liquid bacteria culture. That bottom layer is what you're after, a natural bacterial booster. Here's how to use it in the garden. Dilute 1 tablespoon of the liquid bacteria in 1 liter of non-chlorinated water. Then, water it around plant roots, spray it on leaves early in the morning, or add it to compost piles to turbocharge decomposition. Plants respond quickly. They perk up, deepen in color, and show stronger growth within just a few days. Method 2. Leaf mold, the king of soil microbes. If you've ever walked in a forest and noticed that soft, fragrant, dark soil under fallen leaves, you've actually seen leaf mold, one of nature's richest bacterial sources. First, gather dry fallen leaves, and it's best if you can get leaves from several different tree types. Next, pile them up in a corner and moisten them lightly. Then, cover the pile to keep it in the shade and help it stay moist. After that, well, you just wait. Yeah, this method really does require patience, anywhere from 3 to 12 months, but the good news is, you don't have to do any more work. During that waiting period, bacteria, actinomycetes, and fungi break those leaves down into a soft, spongy, black material that smells just like the forest floor. This stuff is honestly one of the most powerful soil conditioners gardeners can get their hands on. To use it, just mix a handful into any planting hole, broadcast it over your garden beds, or even use it as a seed-starting additive. Method 3. Compost tea. Basically, bacteria in liquid form. Compost tea is super simple. It turns the bacteria in compost into a water-based inoculant. All you have to do is place a handful of mature compost into a bucket of water and then stir it vigorously to introduce some air. Okay, so now, step 3. Let it sit for about 24 hours and just give it a stir every now and then. What you're actually doing here is waking those bacteria up and giving them plenty of oxygen so they can multiply. Be sure to use it right away. The bacteria are alive and ready to go. You can water your plants with it, or even spray it right onto the leaves. Here's the thing: how to keep your bacteria alive in soil. Honestly, this is the part most gardeners totally miss. Once you add bacteria to your soil, you've got to feed them, or, well, they'll just die off. Bacteria feed on organic matter, so your long-term strategy is actually super simple. Add compost regularly, mulch your soil surface, and never leave your soil bare. Bare soil is dead soil. Covered soil is living soil. If you do only that one thing, your soil bacteria will keep regenerating really, forever. The real transformation is about to begin. Your soil will change. When bacteria thrive, your soil becomes softer, darker, crumbly, moist yet well-draining, and it starts to smell just like the forest. Seeds, well, they germinate more reliably. Transplants recover faster. Vegetables become richer, and, honestly, more flavorful. Flowers bloom with even more intensity. Fruit trees become a whole lot harder to stress. And, this isn't magic. It's biology. I want to share a personal note from Soil Sage Chronicles. When I first learned all of this, I realized just how much money I'd wasted on store-bought fertilizers and so-called soil boosters. I learned to watch the soil instead of the label. I learned to trust the natural processes already at work right under my feet. The moment I shifted from feeding plants to feeding soil life, everything changed. The soil came alive, the garden came alive, and honestly, I came alive with it. You can experience that too. It all starts with one handful of living soil. So, here's your next step. Go outside today. Pick one of these methods. Start small, start humble, start alive. Your soil is waiting. If this article helped you, don't keep the knowledge to yourself. Share it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles for even more living soil wisdom, experiments, and hands-on regenerative gardening guidance. Let's grow soil, let's grow life, let's grow together.